Hello everyone. In this video we will see what services we have in Azure for data delivery, and we will divide them into two categories. The first one is regional and the other is global. So a regional Azure service is one which we provision in a particular region, and they can only route traffic to other Azure services in the same region. But the global ones are those which we provision in Azure and they can route traffic to other Azure services which are in different region as well. So in regional delivery, we have two services provided to us by Azure. The first one is load balancer and the other one is application gateway. The first service is Azure load balancer. It evenly distributes the incoming traffic across a group of backend resources or servers, and it works at layer 4, which means that it decides on routing of traffic based on the layer 4 information, which is the IP address and the port information. So a load balancer could be of two types. It could either be public or an internal one. So in a public one, the front end IP address to which the client connects is a public IP address, and an internal one is the one wherein the front end IP address is a private IP address and it's not accessible from internet. Load balancer comes in two SKUs, the basic and the standard one. The basic one doesn't have any SLA, however the standard one provides us 99.99% SLA. And in a standard one, on the back end we can also have a single VM or VM scale sets, different VM scale sets which are part of a single VNet, which is not possible in a basic SKU. For security in load balancer, we can use network security groups. It doesn't provide us firewall functionality, unlike application gateway. The other service is application gateway. It works at layer 7, which is application layer. So it can route traffic based on the application layer. So for example, you have a few web servers in the backend pool, and it can route traffic based on the URL. For example, if the request comes for images, then it can route request to a particular web server. If request comes for videos/videos URL, then it can route request on a different server. It can also do SSL termination. So you have HTTPS request coming to application gateway, and it does a SSL termination there and routes the request to the backend web servers on port 80. So for application gateway in a backend pool, we can have VM scale sets, we can have VMs, we can have Azure App Service, we can have internal or public IP addresses, on-prem servers, or any FQDN. Application gateway also provides us web application firewall, which we can enable. So this is the architecture of application gateway, wherein user hits the application gateway and then there is a firewall which can be enabled, and there are different rules set on it. So based on the rules, it sends the request to the backend pool. Then comes the global delivery. So in global delivery, we have a traffic manager first. So it's a DNS based load balancer, and the backend services for it could either be on-prem or Azure endpoint, but they must be internet facing. So they can't have a private IP, they must be internet facing resources. And it has different routing methods such as priority, weight, performance, and geographic. So this is the architecture of traffic manager, wherein a user sends a DNS query to its DNS server, and the query goes to the traffic manager. The traffic manager responds user with the DNS A record for the service where the user should be routed, and then user directly connects to that service. So for example, in this case there are three services here and the user is connecting to endpoint 1. Unlike application gateway, wherein the request goes through application gateway and it can do SSL termination, the traffic manager just gives the A record of the service to which user should connect, and then the user connects to that service directly. That's why these services should have a public IP. So at number 4, when the user connects, it connects to their public IP. And how traffic manager decides which service the user should hit, it decides that based on the different routing methods. So the priority one is the one wherein there is a priority of a service. Every time the request will go to that particular service. Only time when it is down, it will go to the other service which is in the backend. Weighted is the one wherein it could route traffic. For example, on 50-50% basis, let's say the first request goes to service 1 and the second one to second service. The other service is called Azure CDN. So Azure CDN service improves the response time while accessing storage account, webs, apps, customer regions using edge servers located globally. So the use case for CDN is that, let's say you have a web server which is located in US region, and if someone is accessing it from Australia, then every time they will go to US and get the content. But Microsoft has edge servers all over the world, so it would be good that if we could cache the web server resources on those local servers in local regions, which are called edge servers, so that users can directly download the content from them, and that would be fast. So CDN provides a way by which user can locally get to the content which is cached on the edge servers, and that provides content faster to the user. So CDN is a caching service in Azure which helps in global delivery of data quickly to users. Then comes Azure front door. So in Traffic Manager, we saw that the request goes directly to the service. It doesn't goes through Traffic Manager. So unlike Application Gateway, it cannot do SSL termination, or it does not have a firewall in it, and also it doesn't provide caching. So Azure front door, you could say, is a mixture of your Traffic Manager, Azure CDN, and Application Gateway all in one. So Azure front door works on layer 7, which is the application layer, just like Application Gateway. It's a global service. Just like Application Gateway, it can also have web application firewall in it, and can have backend, which could be a app service, storage account, application gateway, public IP, traffic manager, or any custom host. It also supports caching behavior like CDN, because it has different point of presence locations like Azure CDN. It supports SSL offloading and URL based routing, just like Application Gateway. With Azure front door service, a user connects to the closest POP location. Just like CDN, the user connects to the closest edge server to get the content. In this, there are 64 global edge POP locations worldwide, so user connects to the closest one, and then from there it routes the traffic to the backend pool and gets the content to the user based on the routing rules. But once it gets the content to the user, it can cache it just like CDN. So the next time when any other user tries to get the same content, the content is delivered faster because it's already cached. And it can also do firewall services just like Application Gateway. So these are the 5 services provided by Azure for global delivery of data, and based on the use case you can select any one of them or have a combination of many services. Another service I would add here to the list is called Redis Cache, which can improve the performance and scalability of an application that uses backend data store heavily. So we saw that in Azure CDN and front door that they cache the data so that the next time user gets the data quickly locally. So Redis cache is a bit similar, but it provides caching for your backend database for the application itself. So for example, you have a front end which is a website, and a backend you have Azure SQL running. So website needs to get data from Azure SQL, so you could put a Redis cache in between, wherein the website requests the Redis cache, and if the data is not there, a Redis cache gets it from SQL and puts it in its own cache. So the next time when the application requires the data, it gets it from the cache itself. It doesn't have to go to SQL server or the backend database. So it also improves the performance of your application. In a way, it improves the data delivery for user. So this was a small video on what all data delivery options we have in Azure. And I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.